If you've ever had thieves steal something from you, you know it's nearly impossible to get your stuff back.
But now the KCMO Council wants to make it easier to track down your stolen items when they're sold to a pawn shop. New at 6, 41 Action News reporter Sarah Hollenbeck shows us the proposed new rules and why pawn shops say this will hurt their business.
Well, Kansas City police actually find an average of about 450 stolen items in pawn shops every year. And most of the pawn shops I talked to already have tactics in place to keep from buying those stolen items. But they say that these new rules are going to force them to lose money.
Councilman John Sharp has pushed for stricter regulations on pawn shops since someone stole precious items from his home a few years ago.
They stole my great-granddad's and my granddad's Knight Templar swords. Now, I'm sure they didn't get a whole lot of money for those, but those have been in my family, you know, forever.
Two new rules he's now pushing Kansas City Council to pass could make getting those items back easier and help police catch up to the thieves. Soon, pawn shop owners could be forced to record every transaction they make, getting a clear look at the seller's face and the stuff they're bringing into the store. They'll need to keep that footage for 60 days. Michael Bolano's American Pawn Shop already records every transaction.
We want the stigma of the shady pawn shops to be taken out of the equation.
But he's not happy with this second proposed rule, forcing him to hold everything he buys for 10 days.
On these volatile markets like gold and all the precious metals, it could be a way to lose money for the pawnbroker.
Bolano says from this past Friday to Monday, the price of gold dropped drastically to a 5-year low.
So if you were to hold that stuff for 10 days, there's a possibility you could lose a lot of money.
Right now, one Kansas City detective keeps a database of every item brought into a pawn shop. If the serial number of an item brought in matches one with the stolen item, he gets an alert. But sometimes by the time police get to the shop, the item has already been resold. That's why Sharp says holding the items for 10 days could make a big difference.
To make sure that if they did take in stolen property, that it could get back to the rightful owner.
And the Kansas City Police Department says that most pawn shops don't want to take in stolen items because if police sees them, well, they lose out on the money too. Detectives' best advice to you is to write down the serial numbers on your high-end items. They've actually returned some items 10 years later because of those matching serial numbers. Sarah Hollenbeck, 41 Action News.
Sarah, thank you. And a new online group is hoping to make it easier to find your stolen items. Here is the Facebook page right here. It is called Stolen KC. People post things that have been taken from them, and they hope somebody notices them, and then the rightful owner can eventually get it back. If you would like to join this Facebook page, especially if you've had something stolen, we have posted a link to it on the As Seen On section of our website, kshb.com.